This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, beginning at verse 18, and it reads, Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as it were with a cart rope, that say, Let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it, and let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. Verse 20, Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Verse 21, Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Verse 22, Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink. Verse 23, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Rachakadas Brakatah. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders, a great millstone who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking our lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwaf as well as the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, which appear like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Sop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And basically, I came across this article. Actually, it was a post by the elder Yashawamba from Dallas. And sometimes, inspiration come from so many different sources because Yahweh Shem Yahushua is always speaking if you have the spiritual eye to see it. So the elder posted something about the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, going to make an appearance on this show, Drag Race. Now, I've never watched the show, wouldn't want to watch the show, but it just shows you the state of morality in this place, America, as well as around the rest of the world. It made me think of the elder Rakha, if I'm saying the elder's name correctly. Salakia if I'm butchering it, but the elder from the UK, whose page is GMS Fear the Most High 7. And the video was titled Morality 2022 Edition. And he was just going into how basically to be considered a moral or a just person in society, you would have to be against or against the laws of the scriptures. The scriptures condemn the things that are promoted in this current world of ours, and just showing you how truly we're close to the end. That's why I started with that Isaiah chapter 5. Woe to them that call good evil and evil good. I have another one. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 17. And I'm going to start at verse 13, and it reads, Whoso reward of evil for good, evil should not depart from his house. And that's why this place, this society is in such a state of decay. I forgot who I was listening to, but they was talking about when you go into these ancient ancient kingdoms before they were destroyed. Basically, the Lord set them up and allowed them to become like so perverse right before the destruction. And it's America, aka Babylon the Great, is going to be no different. That's why you're seeing basically all these laws that's being passed that would have never been passed because this society is almost at the end. How it's an ancient phrase or ancient quote where they talk about it's darkest right before the light. It's darkest before the dawn, roughly paraphrasing. Who is the dawn? Yahweh Shai Mashiach, people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Because he is that light. He's the light of the world. And a world basically utterly steeped in darkness. So, I don't know what this means, with this article. And I'm not, trying to assume anything. But basically, the scriptures talk about being against a man. That's in the law. A man should not lay with man. A man should not wear what's pertaining unto a woman, and vice versa. But, this society is so far gone, they don't even accept the laws of the Bible, although this country is supposed to be founded on it, showing you how this devil's a hypocrite. This man doesn't really believe in the scriptures. That's why his laws are contrary to it. If society really believed in the scriptures, the basically, the society wouldn't be ran the way it is. So and like I said again, I don't know if he wears drag, but basically it's showing that he condones it nonetheless, and makes you wonder because what the scriptures say in the book of Sirach or the book of Ecclesiasticus says this is the book of Ecclesiasticus or the book of Sirach chapter 10. And I'm going to start at verse 1 and reads, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So you're looking at the contrast. I was going into Luke chapter 16 yesterday about Lazarus and the rich man. So when you go into that, basically that parable, Lazarus represented Yasharallah or Israel, and the rich man represented Esau. And how their lives were totally contrary, but the way the Most High sets everything up, everything is ruled perfectly in balance. So although Esau basically had, Lazarus, or basically he had the wealth over Lazarus on that side when they basically went into Jacob's bosom, Abraham's bosom, Salaki, when they went into Abraham's bosom, basically, it said that the rich man was tormented while Lazarus was comforted. So, the tables had turned. And the same thing for, at the coming destruction of this man's kingdoms. It tells you in this man's kingdom, I can say kingdoms because, in America, you got the UK, who is the ruler of these different countries? This red Hebrew Edomite who you ignorantly called so-called white man. He also, I was listening to a video through the Spirit from the elder Apostle Gabar, and he was going into how when you go to Romans and where else is that? I know it's in Psalms, but talking about how Esau basically is the sword of the Heavenly Father. I think it's Isaiah too. Isaiah chapter 10. It goes into how Esau is the rod of the Most High's anger, because the Lord set him up to be, it tells you in Romans chapter 13 about how he's the sword of the Heavenly Father. If you do of good, roughly paraphrase, but if you do of wickedly, he's going to judge you. And he was going into how, the Lord said, Yahweh Shem set it up for him to be, the judge of his anger to his children, Yasharallah, but he's going to use his same children to basically judge the devil and show you how everything is a balance. It was deep. So a wise judge will instruct his people. Who is that wise judge? Yahweh Shah Mashiach. So, and the law, statutes, and commandments that are written thereof in his book, make me think of Deuteronomy chapter 18, when it talks about how, the prophecy talks about how he's going to send a prophet like unto Moses. And that's referring to Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. And, the scriptures talk about seek out the old paths. What is the old paths? The law, statutes, commandments of this book. So, and, when you go into the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, it talks about how, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. This place is given onto the hand of the wicked. The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24 reads and tells you that. And that's why the world is in the state it's in. The wicked are in rulership, so that's why the world is basically in utter wickedness. So when the righteous are in authority, that's when the world will come back to its pristine state. Because right now the earth is dying. Because, this devil, he's such a coveted man. He's such a covetous man. Everything that is on the planet was put on the planet for a purpose. A pig serves a purpose. It's not set up to actually for you to ingest it. You know what I mean? But it does play a particular role on the earth. It's basically a garbage disposal. You know what I mean? It eats up all the waste of the earth. Salakia though. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So that go back to Job 9 and 24. when 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So if the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, and as the judge of the people is himself, if the wicked are in rulership, then the people are going to be wicked as well. You know. So so when you got individuals condoning behavior like this, it's actually not life, but anti-life. This ABC alphabet, philosophy of living. Of course, I mean, look at, and to show you how wicked it is, they pushing it on the children. So, like, I was listening to the elder apostle Gabar basically talking about what kind of life is it. People trying to hold on to a life where you basically don't have a piece of technology inside of you, that tiny tech, and, being monitored and basically ration your goods. You're not going to be able to basically overcome your class, because basically you're going to have the haves and the have-nots, those that's relying on the government. You really think, this way of life that we've seen today is about to go away. And if you can't see that, that surely shows how much the Lord is not dealing with you. You got to think about it. For the last 2 years, they gave out stimulus. Now that these bills are kicking in higher and higher, why aren't they speaking or discussing anything about stimulus? Because they want you in a desperate state. So, Lakia, for all the, I know this video, like, I've been, but, the spirit's like the wind, So, it reads, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is coming to Drag Race. Ahead of the premiere of yet another spinoff from the Drag Race franchise, a sneak peek has been released that shows the latest installment is sure to be packed with beauty. Men are supposed to be beautiful. Women are supposed to be beautiful. Grace, and that just show you, make me think of Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 16. Surely you're turning things upside down. They're telling a man that he can basically have a child, you're reversing the roles, Then you wonder why you got these weak ass men and these masculine women. But then you go show you a woman's gonna go back into her place of showing you she's a woman when all hell break loose. And these weak ass men ain't gonna know how to actually, because the thing is this: if the Lord dealing with you, you necessarily don't have to be physically strong. You gotta be mentally strong, mentally built for it, tough. You know what I mean? Because the things that we're about to see is, and that's why one of the reasons why a lot of brothers feel, I know I do, speaking as a man, that the Lord takes us through our different trials and tribulations. He has us suffer loss right now. Because with the times we coming in, they talking about, this is coming from the guy Klaus Schwab's own mouth. He said, you gonna own nothing and be happy. And like the elder apostle Gabar said, what kind of life is that? They pushing these fucking philosophies and ideas on your children. It says the trailer for upcoming first season of Canada's Drag Race, Canada versus the World, has dropped. And while there's plenty for the eyes to feast upon, there is one moment that has everyone talking. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will appear in the upcoming reality series, and he's all smiles in the clip. So at the end of the day, I don't even really need to read any further into this. At the end of the day, this man is condoning this. Man, and again, the scriptures talk about, I can't say, I don't want to, YouTube is trying to, they'll say hate speech or, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you can have, mind you, the scriptures talk about this. This is out the Bible, you know what I mean? But they'll label it as hate speech. But then when they say something's wrong with you for talking against this, you know what I mean? Then you're allowed to be hated because these people spin narratives. Look at 9/11. They spent the narrative that it was weapons of mass destruction in that land. Went over there, bombed the shit out of it, killed all those people, did all these horrendous things, and never found one weapon of mass destruction. Nobody speaks on this shit. So I read Proverbs. I read Isaiah. I read, okay, so, and the thing is, because these devils will accept this, you got the heathen that have been into, the elder from the UK was going into that too as well, because they was talking about basically it was a nation in the, I believe, Middle East or somewhere over in that region that basically they was talking about where they were going to have the World Cup. And they was like, well, basically because of the prejudice, you got nations that didn't want to accept, because the main thing he said, the trans community, the LGBTQ, the alphabet community, they didn't want to accept that. He said he went into Africa. He said how it's a lot of countries in Africa that do not accept that lifestyle. And then basically those people are considered immoral. But again, like I said, these people claim to be Bible-toting, Bible-fearing individuals when actually they are anti the Bible. And that's why you get, when you go into 1 John chapter 2, where they talk about there are many antichrists. You got Christians so bugged out, they'll say that it's one antichrist. When I could bring you scriptures that, the whole world is pretty, I ain't gonna say the whole world because you always have a remnant, but the majority of the world is antichrist. They don't believe in the Messiah. I had a book that went into how you got all these different supposed religious associations, like the Catholic Church, the Christian, like the Methodist Church, and all these different, so-called, Bible-based religious groups that basically got associations and groups that's all into transhumanism. Now, mind you, the Bible is a spiritual book, so it transcends the flesh. So why are they worried about transhumanism? Go look up what transhumanism is. What do you think Elon Musk is basically pushing with this whole Neuralink? What do you think that is? Then you stupid ass people believing this guy really the real life Tony Stark. But did you see this man's Halloween costume? He had the Baphomet right on his He walking around with tuxedos with the pyramid with the all-seeing eye. And then people sit up here talking about that's a conspiracy. So is he making jokes about it? Or you got to understand, they call you Sheba because they find majority of Americans are simple. And the scriptures talk about that, especially our people. It talks about how my people are foolish. They have not known me. Our people look at things with a carnal eye when they're supposed to be a spiritual people. And that's why majority of our people are going to be destroyed. So in the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 8, and it reads, they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And that's why you had this red devil condoning, that lifestyle, because they're base. You got to understand, they was doing bestiality. I think of the movie, The Punisher. It was the one with Dolph Lundgren, though, like back in I want to say it was like early 90s. I remember as a younger individual, I probably was in my early teens watching it. It had Louis Gossett Jr. and Dolph Lundgren in it. And basically, he was fighting the Yakuza, Dolph Lundgren, or the Punisher was. And basically, she made a statement to an Edomite, like it's supposed to be the mob or the Edomites, and then it's supposed to be the Yakuza, the Moabite mobsters. And it was a female in power, and she was saying basically how, her forefathers were the crime lords of Asia, while her people, his people were literally fucking, sheep in the wilderness, because they base, and to show you how proof and that is, I did a video because it was an Edomite chick on there basically condoning telling children and women that they should basically fuck they dog. And they took my video down, but left hers up when she's basically peddling this to children. She's trying to come with the philosophy of it's cleaner, you don't have to worry about the dog cheating on you. All this old crap. That's a base ass person. Let's go into the word base. It said viler than the earth. So the word base is shin.
Strong's H 8034. Shame. Shame.
Is that it? Salakia. Yeah. Name, reputation, flame, glory, memorial, monument. Famous. Fame. Infamous. So famous and infamous is not the same. Shame. Shame. Primitive word rather from the definite and conspicuous position, compare appellation as a mark or memorial of individuality. So how base go? So you try to say, but then it say viler to the earth. They were base man, meaning honorable, but they were viler than the earth. Let's go on the word vile. I see why the elder said you can't trust the blue letter no more. Nakah.
Strong's H 5217. Nacha. Nacha.
And it says to drive away, to smite, to strike. When you're going to smite or smite, is to strike or drive away, be viler. So basically, when something is to strike, scourge, smite, to drive away, because nobody wanted to be around them. You know what I mean? I think in the same chapter in Job, well, like I said, how they was yeah, right. This is Job chapter 30, verse 1. It reads, But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. When you go into younger, although Esau Edom was the firstborn, he was younger because he in his rulerships, he hasn't ruled very long. When you go into the amount of time that Esau has had power, it hasn't been very long. When you go into this devil really is a when you go Diablos, meaning deceiver, he lies about a lot of shit. You know what I mean? That's why you can't trust the school systems and shit you learn. Brothers have more understanding and knowledge of history than these devils do. I remember I was arguing with an Edomite over the internet. The first thing they want to do is try and say nigga or try and say, because he went into how around their dogs because they'd have tried to fuck them. That's how base they was. That's where you get them living in the mountains and whatnot. And when you go into that Job talking about they was braying. When you go into braying, that's like what a donkey do when it you know what I mean? Because they didn't have a culture. And that's why when you take the time to think about it, they emulate every culture but their own. Because they never really had one. And it's been like that since then, and it's like that today. When you go into America and the traditions of, when you go into all these holidays that they practice, these is all ancient customs. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers think Christmas is really based on the Bible. And if you read the Bible tell you not to celebrate Christmas. That's how you know people don't even read the Bible. Then I had somebody that called themselves just a true believer. They say, well, I believe it's your belief. Like, how the fuck? See, that's how you know the Lord gonna kill a lot of people. Because, listen, they don't even understand or know the Lord. People talk about the Lord is all love. What about the scriptures? I can show you where he say he hate, where he say he war, where he destroyed, when he come with wrath. These is all in the Bible. That's why you had some people say the God of the Bible is a vengeful, hateful, angry God. Then they say, oh, well, in the New Testament, he became loving. But it tells you in the scriptures that the Most High God changes not. If he flooded the whole planet, what? Salaki, I'm digressing. Where am I at? This is the book of Ephesians chapter 5, because at the end of the day, instead of the scriptures tell you to condone and expose the works of darkness. So if this devil was a righteous individual, he'd be talking about how this is off. But instead, he condoning it. He allowing it to flourish. This is the man that allowed drag queens to go to your children's school and teach them, knowing how impressionable a child is. And you talking about this man righteous? This is the book of Ephesians chapter 5 and the verses verse. I'm gonna start at verse 8. Ephesians 5 and 8. For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. Because we were all, heathens to a degree. None of us knew that we were Israelites until the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua opened our eyes to the truth. That's when we start coming back to law, statute, commandments. And to show you how cold this is, this ain't even just one day we couldn't figure out who he was and literally say, okay, we've been everything. We've been Egyptians. We going to be this. The Bible, the scriptures say that this was going to happen. It was going to happen just like this. And literally something major is about to happen because the Lord used Kanye West and Kyrie Irving to literally do the same thing. Fuck them two dudes. We know Kyrie ain't going to come and give up all his money. You know, it tells you in the scriptures that it's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of, it's easier for a camel to enter the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Kanye sitting up here talking about Jesus, but he an Israelite. And he right to a degree, but what he wrong about is the name. It wasn't a letter J in the Hebrew, and it tells you that Paul, that the Messiah spoke to Paul in the Hebrew. Verse 9, for the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth. Verse 10, proving what is acceptable to proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. Verse 11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. So while these devils condoning this, the scriptures say reprove the works of darkness. Let's go into the word reprove. I got to actually figure out what word it is, though. Reprimand or censure. He was reproved. Rebuke. And I guarantee you that's the same what is being used in the blue letter. This is the book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 11. And it reads, well, let me get the word reprove. And it reads, to convict, refute, confute, generally with a suggestion of shame of the person convicted. To call to account, show one his fault, demand an explanation. To chasten, to punish. What's the word?
Strong's G 1651. Elegho. Elegho.
So instead of like condoning this, they supposed to this politician, you know, supposed to be actually rebuking and you know what I mean, and making these individuals shamefaced, but they're not, you know, because at the end of the day, they are base men. Let me get. It's the book of Galatians chapter 5, and the point is Galatians 5 and verse 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary. I wanted something else. Oh, this is what I want. Verse 19. Galatians 5 and verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresy, heresies, envying, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before. So the point is the fornication. So that's basically like the committing adultery with the other gods. You know, you got people that idolize actual individuals, human beings. That's human beings like you, as opposed to giving homage to your power. Yahweh Shem Shai. But uncleanliness, impurity, and that's an impure act with these individuals condoning these two men, because the scriptures talk about in the law, I believe it's what's that, Leviticus chapter 20. verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon their hands. So a man and laying with a man or a woman laying with a woman is a sin unto death. But this society promotes it. So that's how you know that this red Hebrew Edomite is not a righteous man. And based on the wickedness of how he allowed the world to become, the earth, he's going to be judged for it. And that's why you got this scripture in the book of Obadiah. And I'm going to end with this. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. So that's going into the northern and southern kingdom of Yasharallah. Because you had, what was that? 10 tribes of the northern kingdom. And then you got the 2 tribes of the southern kingdom. You know, Benjamin. Well, you got Levi too, you know. But was that Judah, Benjamin, and Levi? So that when they come together in the kingdom, you know, we gonna judge this devil because they're gonna pay their 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and servitude, just like how we had, because that's the perfect balance of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He had us basically go and drink that cup and basically serve our slavery to these devils. And the balance is these devils gonna serve their slavery to us, and that's justice. That's what you consider justice. Why these devils talk about justice and justice, and when you go into justice, that's justice. That's why the scriptures talk about eye for an eye. If something happens to you, the only way to actually receive true justice is for that same exact thing to happen to the individual that did that. It did that to you or to yours or whatever. It reads, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau. And when you go into Esau, Edom, Esau, which name was changed to Edom, which is a nation of people that, although you got individuals trying to hide from you wanted the birthright when you had the whole world and whatnot. It's other things that come with your birthright. And it just make a lot of sense. When you take time to look at it spiritually, Esau was a carnal man, so he gave up his birthright for food. And now you got this same carnal ass man that's not looking at a spirit. He don't even believe in the Most High God. He want to make technology to make himself live forever. That's the whole purpose of these. They want to put your consciousness in a fucking video game. This devil that gave you some shit that got people dying. Celebrities died, you wondering why they died and they not really going. They could tell you that a motherfucking senator took or the senator got COVID. They could tell you that, but they can't tell you what they died from. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's it. Come on, this all the hospitals like, oh yeah, that senator, they just got enough time to tell you, oh yeah, the president got COVID. Like, what do you think they pushing? If the president got it, if to save everybody, they go put you in subjection to save you. It make me think of the Walking Dead with Negan. Negan, I like Negan though. Negan was the savior. He said, let me save you. Shit. I don't want to be saved by you. Fuck you. Yahweh Shai is let me be delivered from your ass. You know what I'm saying? But anyhow, it says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. Meaning we gonna burn them motherfuckers up. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. And that's when, it's no longer going to be any Edomites. Just because they're trying to duck and dodge from it now, when you go into, it's books out here called the Roman Empire of the Edomite. You know what I mean? Like when you go back to Alexander the Great, which most of these motherfucking Edomites basically considered the forefather of the fucking so-called white man, he was an Edomite. Flat out. His line go back to the line of Amalek, which was a grandson of Esau. So these devils is not done away with, but the scripture in Obadiah says they will be. And we looking forward to that. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, because this devil is a cancer. It tells you in the book of, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 about the son of perdition. When you go into the word perdition, it means destruction. That's why he doesn't really make anything to benefit the world. He can make something to destroy shit. You know what I mean? Like when you go into the Winchester rifles and the ICBM, the nuclear fucking bomb. You know what I mean? Like this motherfucker could create all kind of shit to destroy something. But you got the Jake that created the machine that could actually suck the water out the air and fucking give people like that's in Flint, Michigan, water to drink, drinkable water. They fucking sabotaging that though. Facts. This motherfucker, the devil, and gotta go. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, to the statutes, and to the commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam, La Yahweh Ba Shem Yahushai Ba Shem Racha Kodash Barakatam. Double honors to my apostles, the elders, the men of the great millstone who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives, as well as their freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat, as well as the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, which appear like the other nations, but whom subscribe to the truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson, I want to say shalom, shalom, mawaf lababor, shalom.